it's Carlos, the Ultimate Fitness Training once again, and thank you so much for watching the video. And today we're doing a video about 5 tips on how to deal with negative people. Now, I've had these requests for a while, and that's obviously, as you guys know, obviously I do the videos based on requests. So that's one of the things that kind of training people talking about how to deal with negativity. So I'm going to do 5 tips. Obviously there's a lot more, but obviously I'm just going to give you 5 tips in order to help you to deal with negative people. Now, number 1 is embrace the negativity. This may sound a bit weird when I say embrace the negativity. Is when people start talking about negative, try to listen to them initially, okay? Because sometimes negativity can come from obviously people that are close to you. It could be parents, could be loved ones, it could be cousins, friends, whatever. Okay, and sometimes even people at work, obviously. And sometimes it's hard to kind of just avoid these people. So it's not as easy as go right. Okay, bye bye. Obviously, if you can, then obviously do that. But a lot of times it's not so easy as that. So embrace it. Now, try to understand where that person's coming from. Now, when I say listen to the negativity, I don't mean take it on, okay? So use that energy to think, right, how can I improve this person, okay? Now, if one thing you guys when you start beginning to understand a negative person is they work in patterns. Okay, the pattern is they either criticize an event or they criticize others, okay? So what they then tend to do, they'll either start with an event of a particular person or an event of a particular thing itself. Okay, it could be a procedure, it could be what they don't like about the traffic, it could be the weather's really bad and all of a sudden leads into they hating the mother-in-law, or whatever it is. Okay, they work in patterns. So try to basically embrace that and understand how can you change that person. Not changed in terms of, obviously, as you guys know, it's very hard to change people, but try to think ways to motivate that person to change that pattern. Okay, then this leads to number 2 is learn switch patterns. Now, this is one of the things that we coaches, psychologists learn about, is changing the person's switch pattern. Okay, now what it is I was just about to say is human beings work in patterns. Okay, so pattern processes is obviously energy leads into thoughts leads into actions leads into patterns leads into obviously behaviors. And this basically a lot of the times is, I'm just going to give you a really simple example, is if someone begins to say, obviously slack someone off or talk negative about someone, whatever it is, which is very much the same, they work in a pattern. There was a thought, there was a feeling, and all of a sudden they are kind of voicing their opinion about that particular thing or person. Okay, now try to switch someone's pattern. I'll give you just an example of this. Let's say someone is walking next to me and all of a sudden they start slagging someone off, and or they probably start talking about, oh, the weather's so cold. Just switch the patterns. Just talk about, oh, what did you do yesterday? Just change the pattern. Or say someone starts slagging someone off, say, what would you find good about that person? Although they're that bad, what would you find good about that person? Change their process of thought, because when they begin to slag someone off, there's a pattern. They almost, it's like you're going downhill and the snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, try to change their pattern. Okay, once you change their pattern, what you find, you interrupt the pattern. Once you interrupt the pattern, you'll see slowly that person will actually start not actually liking talking about that, because once there's no way you can slag someone off and feel good about it. Okay, because you've got to have the feelings in order to express yourself. Okay, so that's another one. Now, number 3 is do not hang around with people that cultivate this culture. What I mean by that is you probably come around, or you've probably seen people, or you've probably met people, or you probably know people that are very much so good when they've got 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people that are bitching about something. Obviously, this is very typical from like, say, maybe school or maybe gatherings, or they just talk about negative. Just avoid those kind of nucleus, because what it is, it's like almost like a tribe, and all they cultivate, they'll slag one, the other, The other, and they probably even slag each other when they're not with each other itself, okay? Or they probably do, but they don't know about it, and they'll think someone that slags people off, they'll even slag you, even if they're good friends with you, anyway, because that's what they're like, okay? That's their nature, that's their pattern. So try to be very, very, very aware of these particular tribes, okay? And then build your tribe based on positivity. Now, it's understanding that when you have to avoid these people, okay? And then this leads to number 4 is be very focused as to how you identify these people. Now, don't take me wrong, everyone's got bad days, okay? Everyone has bad misfortunes happening, okay? Now, someone talking about a misfortune or talking about something that's happened, that doesn't mean the person's being negative. A lot of the times you need to actually accept the fact that there is bad days. So if someone say, I don't know, someone had a massive accident or someone died, obviously there's going to be a level of, you know, sadness, there's going to be a level of negativity perhaps. Someone might be a bit vulnerable because negativity comes from the stem of fear, okay? If you're really, really, really happy, you wouldn't talk about negative things, okay? So negativity comes from the stem of obviously fear of failure, fear of not being able to do perhaps something, fear of others, fear of judgment, fear of not being able to achieve, and that sometimes can be very, very fearful for a lot of people. And the way a lot of humans manifest themselves is to kind of rebel against it and start slagging things off and perhaps slagging others off, because that's the worst thing you can do, by the way. However, it makes them feel probably a little bit better because they think, oh, there we are, I'm a bit of a winner, I'm telling how bad that person is, so I must be better. And that's just almost like a human nature thing to do. However, failing to identify the pattern, you'll end up actually doing that so many times, of which makes you that particular person. So you begin to be literally a constant negative pattern of events, okay? I'll tell you one thing. I had a friend of mine, right, a lovely guy, really nice guy and everything, but without realizing, he was constantly moaning. Honestly, everything was it was a chain of events of tragedy, okay? And obviously he knows that I do coaching and I'm a psychologist and I do training and everything else. And then one day I was in a car with him and I was driving. He literally jumped in the car, barely said, how are you? And he just went on another chain of events. And then I actually explained this, I'm explaining to you guys about chain of events and patterns and neuroplasticity, what happens in your brain. And he looked at me and said, are you all right? Carlos, I never thought about that. And I said, listen, let me give you an exercise. So I gave him an exercise for 21 days that he had, every time he felt himself beginning to slag others off or slag things off, right? Think about a great thing you're grateful for, okay? Think about how beautiful it is to actually waking up. Say, for instance, as an example, this morning I'm doing this video for you guys. How grateful am I for that great sunshine, vitamin D, okay? How grateful I am that I've got legs, that I've got a brain, that I've got a heartbeat, that I'm alive today, I'm healthy. There's people dying today. There'll be thousands of people, if not millions of people dying today. People dying of cancer, heart attacks, all sorts of things. And me here, and we that are alive, should be so grateful. So when I gave him that exercise to do for 21 days, after about a month, I caught up with him again. He said, Carlos, do you know what? I still slack people off. And I still moan, but probably only 10% now. And I said, fantastic, keep doing it. And I met him after about 2 or 3 months again. He says, Carlos, I'm a lot better now. I'm still slack people off, but now probably about 2 or 3%. I says, it might be hard to give him that kind of figures, but I tell you, he's a better person now, okay? Obviously not gonna entirely stop someone from probably talking shit, but what I'm saying is you minimize it, okay? And that is where the real factor is, okay? And then this leads to number 5 is, be happy and accept that there's gonna be these kind of people on earth, this negativity, these slaggers. It's like saying you're going to swim without getting wet. It's impossible, right? It's absolutely impossible. So it's like telling a boxer that's going to go into the ring, not going to get punched in the face. You are going to get punched in the face, and you probably will eventually or get knocked out. That's just the way it is, inevitable, okay? So make sure you accept it, you understand it, that without negative people, there won't be positive people. There's got polarity. There's wet and dry. There's dark and there's obviously light, there's white and there's black. There's always the other side of the story, okay? So you've got to remember there's always a level of polarity, negative and positive. Okay, there's always two sides, okay? All right, there you are, another video, guys, in order to help us become our greatest version. Today is about how to deal with negative people, 5 signs. You know where to find me on Instagram, which is CarlosTrainer10, also on YouTube channel, which is Carlos Trainer. And as always, like, share, subscribe and like our videos. And with all that said, guys, stay happy, stay healthy, stay fit, have a beautiful day, take care. Just believe in yourself, that's all it is. Believe in yourself and do not allow external events to dictate your present situation. Fitter, get healthier, get happier, become your greatest version. Remember, while you're becoming your greatest versions, don't forget, have fun as well, because a lot of times you can be very serious as well. So have fun, like I always do, although doing these videos, and it gets really serious sometimes about coaching, training, psychology, problems, everything. It's always sometimes to become a kid as well and just enjoy and laugh, laugh, laugh.